Okay, let's focus in today. We're looking at a specific spot, Big Falls. This one's in Seymour, Wisconsin, near Eau Claire.
Hmm. And we've got some pretty detailed notes here. A first-hand account from someone who walked the East Shore Trail.
Right. So the plan is to use these notes to really get a feel for the place. What are the falls like? What's the landscape? What's it like to actually visit?
Let's explore it together, using this account as our guide.
So, starting from that East Shore Trail view, what's the first impression according to the source?
Well, the main falls are right there. That's the first thing described. It seems to be the dominant feature from that spot.
Okay, the main attraction. And then looking downstream, the river does something interesting.
Yeah, it really does. The notes say it diverts around this sandy island that's formed in the channel.
Ah, okay. So the water divides.
Exactly. And that creates two pretty different sections downstream from the main drop.
How so?
Well, one part of the river apparently becomes quite calm, almost still water. But the other section rushes pretty intensely around a bend, and that part leads down to another sort of secondary drop.
So it's a multi-stage thing then. You've got the main falls, then this split, and another drop further on.
Seems that way.
Let's talk scale. How high are we talking for the main falls? Based on these notes, anyway.
The estimate given is a total drop of, maybe 5 to 10 feet overall.
Right. And is that one sheer drop?
Not quite. The source clarifies that the largest single step, like the most distinct vertical part, is probably around 4 or 5 feet.
Okay, so 10 feet total, with the biggest single piece being about 4 or 5 feet. Got it.
Yeah, that gives you a better picture.
And that downstream section, the secondary drop, is it like another waterfall?
No, the description here is different. It's painted more as a series of steps, like cascades.
Ah, okay.
It descends another, they estimate, 5 to 10 feet, but it's stretched out more. More gradual, though probably still quite rough water.
Interesting. And the notes mention perspective matters a lot. Standing right next to the main falls, even at that 5-10 foot height, gives a different impression.
Yeah, proximity changes things. And they also talk about actually getting down closer to the river level
How do they manage that?
by navigating over the rocks and down the slope carefully to get a view of the main falls from below.
Right. Okay. And that's where something else comes into view.
Yes, that's where they mention this giant rocky island. It's sitting right in the middle of the river.
A rocky island this time, not the sandy one downstream.
Correct. And this one is significant because, depending on where you're standing,
It can block your view.
exactly. The notes point out that from certain spots, this island can actually hide parts of the falls. They even mention a past visit where they could only see the section on the far side of the island.
Wow, so your whole impression of the falls could change just based on where you happen to stand relative to that island.
It really highlights how geography shapes what you see, doesn't it? You have to move around to get the full picture. Makes the experience more interactive in a way.
Definitely. Okay, shifting gears a bit to the experience of being there, the practical side. Photography comes up.
Yes, some useful observations. They found cloud cover was often helpful for photos.
Which makes sense for water, right? Diffused light.
Avoids those really harsh shadows or blown out highlights. But they also caught a lucky break.
Oh, yeah.
Just as the sun was setting, it popped out briefly. And they got this shot with, quote, splashes of golden color on the water.
Nice. Sounds beautiful. They also mentioned trying long exposures.
Right, aiming for that classic creamy water look, where the motion blurs smoothly.
While keeping the rocks sharp, ideally.
That's the goal. And there's a little technical note. They think their camera filter might need replacing. An ND filter, probably, for those long exposures. It's the common thing photographers run into.
Good practical detail. Now, what about actually getting to the falls? The hike itself?
Oh, the notes make it sound very straightforward. The trail starts right from the park's parking area, easy to spot, easy to follow.
How long are we talking?
Just a couple of minutes walking, apparently. The data they include says it's an easy quarter-mile round trip.
Okay, so the trail part is simple, but there was a trickier bit.
Yes, it's not the trail, it's getting off the trail and down to the river's edge, closer to the falls.
That part involves
Navigating down a slope and over some rocks. The source suggests it's manageable for most people without mobility issues, but, definitely advises caution. Take your time. Absolutely. Rocks near water can be slick. Safety first.
For sure. And for anyone wanting to pinpoint this exact location on a map,
Coordinates are provided. Latitude 44.8213234 and longitude 9x91.2937012. Plug those into your map app and it'll take you right there.
handy. One last observation from the notes. Something about park rules.
Yeah, a minor point, but worth noting. They saw signs saying dogs aren't allowed in that specific area near the falls. But they observed someone with a large dog off-leash, which they found a bit distracting and concerning.
Right. A reminder that those rules are usually there for a reason, for everyone's safety and enjoyment.
Exactly. Managing visitor impact.
Okay, so let's recap what this account tells us about this big falls, the one in Seymour, Wisconsin.
We've got a main drop, estimated around 5 to 10 feet total, with maybe a 4 or 5 foot single largest step.
Then downstream, the river splits around islands, creating calmer sections and another set of cascades, dropping maybe another 5–10 feet more gradually.
Right, and that big rocky island right in the middle can really change your view depending on where you stand.
Access is super easy, a quick quarter-mile walk on the East Shore Trail.
But getting down to the water's edge requires some care on the rocks and the slope. Manageable, but be cautious.
And we got some insight into photographing it, the benefits of clouds, that lucky golden hour shot.
And even a reminder about respecting park rules like the one about dogs.
It really builds a good mental picture based on this one person's experience.
Yeah, it does. It feels like you get a sense of the place.
And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How much do these kinds of specifics, the estimated height, the description of the light, even the challenge of scrambling down rocks, how much do they shape what we expect a place to be like before we ever set foot there ourselves?